Shia Muslim propaganda film Lady of Heaven sparks international outrage and bans. Released on June 3rd, the movie The Lady of Heaven sparked numerous protests across the United Kingdom as many from the Muslim communities deemed it to be blasphemous and, quote, spreading false information about Islam. The film depicts the life and struggles of Lady Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad. In the movie, Lady Fatima is described as the first victim of terrorism. I'm using coded language for YouTube, but we all know what terrorism is. So she's the first victim of terrorism. The film's narrative is from a pro-Shia perspective, which led to a clash of beliefs between the two major sects of Islam. The Sunnis, the most outraged group, believe this film pushes a, quote, incorrect portrayal of historical facts. One of the biggest problems was the depiction of Muhammad and his relatives in the film. The visual depiction of the prophet is understood to be blasphemous in most Sunni sects. The film also received backlash for, quote, the demonizing portrayal of revered Sunni figures. Massive protests in Bradford, Bolton, Birmingham, and Sheffield made Cineworld, a prominent cinema chain in the UK, cancel all Lady of Heaven film screenings. The chain stated, due to recent incidents related to the screenings of The Lady of Heaven, we made the decision to cancel upcoming screenings of the film nationwide to ensure the safety of our staff and customers. Following in the steps of Cineworld, another chain, Showcase, has withdrawn the film from all outlets. And this movie has been banned in Morocco, it was banned in Iran, I think it was banned in Kuwait. Yeah, so it's also been banned in multiple countries. So there's a lot to talk about here. Because Armin and I watched this movie last night.
Yes, we did. So this is Muslim, like people are like, oh, we're banning this Islamic movie. Like, why? Is it like the right-leaning people are angry? No, it's Muslims. Muslims are banning Muslims. Muslims canceling Muslims because of the not liking the narrative. By the way, when you watch this movie, the first scene that you see is like showing these evil ISIS members or ISIS members like coming in, and they're like shouting Allah Akbar and doing evil stuff, and the movie is condemning them as like the evil person. And you think like, wow, this is an anti-Muslim video. Like, who made this? Muslims. Right? So the like a lot of, I think some people might find it, who don't know the battle between like Shias and Sunnis, might be confused or like, wait, so this is a movie that is an Islamic propaganda, pro-Islam movie that is anti some other Muslims, right? So basically the way, what the message of the movie is, that is all of these terrorism, like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, this is all Sunni Islam. That Sunni Islam is responsible for all this radicalism, right? And they have been doing it since the beginning. Like, this is not like what you're saying with the, what you're saying with like Osama bin Laden or al-Baghdadi or all these other loons. The movie is like trying to portray that this is like from the very beginning, the people who are associated with Sunni Islam, the people who went away from the way of the Prophet, from the messaging of the Islam, these Sunnis, this is not something new. They have been betraying Islam from the beginning. And if people understood true Islam, which is Shiism, they would understand that this violates everything that is Islam, right? So that's the message of the movie. But I mean, the movie is attacked not just by Sunnis, though; it's also attacked by other Shias. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Because we have people in the live chat going, "Wait, a pro-Shia film is banned in Iran?" And Puya saying, "What? Why was it banned in Iran?" Because and I'm over here like this, because it's the Shirazi Shias. The Shirazi Shias.
So you guys, no, wait. So you guys thought that the sectarianism in Islam is only Sunnis versus Shias. You thought, oh, it's my sweet, sweet summer child. You thought that as long as people are on the Shia side, they would obviously get along. You're Shia, I'm Shia, we are Shia, let's be Shia together. Oh, a Shia movie, let's get along. You thought it's just as simple. No, within Shia Islam, there's faction. There's Shia and Shia disagreement and violence as well.
Secular writers say, no, say it isn't so.
So it is a movie made by Shias, but not the right kind of Shias, according to the Velayat Faqih or Iranian version of Shia Islam, right? So these are, as Susanna, yeah, go on, you were explaining.
So the Shirazi Shias are basically like Shia extremists. They have such their rhetoric. So they, okay, for those who don't know, broad overview, Shias revere the family of Prophet Muhammad more. Sunnis revere his disciples and companions more. So, and it is always contention between how you talk about the disagreements between these people that caused this divide, right? So these Shirazi Shias take it to the extreme, where most Sunnis, most Shias, like they still generally have respect for the other side. They still revere them in some capacity. No. These Shirazi Shias are so extreme in their insult to the companions and disciples of the Prophet that their leader and the director and writer of this movie, Sheikh Yasser Al-Habib, got his Kuwaiti citizenship revoked because of what he says about the companions of the Prophet. Like they're like, you can't even that is the next level of, we don't claim her, we don't claim him. Like,
Yeah,
they are so controversial that their marja, they're the sheikh or the imam that they follow the most, not imam, marja, what's his full name? Siddiqui.
what can
Siddiqui
I
Al-Shiraz. Anyways, he's been in
Yeah.
house arrest. He's been in house
Mhm.
arrest in Iran for years now because they
Well,
won't let him go.
let me simplify it, okay? About the agreement. Okay, the Shia Muslims agree, okay, whether they're Shirazi Shia imams or the Velayat Faqih Shia Muslims, they both agree that the first three caliphs, they're rotting in hell as we speak. They're burning because, like, so the Sunnis, they like, oh, Omar, Abu Bakr, Osman, these are the rightly guided ones. They're some of the closest companions of Muhammad. I mean, Abu Bakr himself was referred to not by name, but in a story in the Quran, right? So these are like celebrated by the Sunnis. But the Shias consider these people to be some of the worst people ever to have lived because they betrayed Muhammad, right? I mean, the story of the betrayals. So, but Shia Velayat Faqih Shias believe that you cannot go and curse them. You cannot go and openly spread hatred towards them because that will cause disunity among Muslims, right? So they're like, there are a whole bunch of Sunni Muslims, like you could believe that Abu Bakr, Omar, and Osman were evil, okay? But because you're our fellow Sunni brothers and sisters, we need unity with them against the evil West or Israel and stuff like that. You shouldn't go out and be like, La'nat bar Omar, like, La'nat bar, like, that's like, tone it down. Taqiyya, do taqiyya. All right. So basically, they're like, the issue is like, we need to practice taqiyya here and hide our hatred towards these people. Okay, that's one disagreement they have, and they think like the Shirazi Shias who are like really aggressively against these other beloved Sunni figures, right? They think that the Shirazi Imam, the Shirazi Shias are being used by Westerners and Israelis as a way to separate, to cause conflict within the Islamic community. They're like, you are puppets of Israel or Western countries. Like you are, and it doesn't help.
Controlled by Queen Elizabeth.
I mean, technically, okay. So as radical, the Shirazi Shias, they're like, they seem more aggressive. Okay, they're very aggressively anti-Sunni, but they also like in favor of like blood splitting. Letting out blood during Ashura and Taswa, like they cut their heads and stuff like that. And Velayat Faqih Shias, they're like, no, they're like, that is not allowed, right? So they look a lot crazy. They sound and look a lot crazier, but they're more pro-Western, right? So it helps with the narrative of Velayat Faqih because the Shirazi, if you actually look into this movie, you could see like some of the heroes, the Shia heroes in the movie are working with Americans, right? And the Shirazi Shias, they believe that the Queen Elizabeth is a descendant of Muhammad. So and they love the Queen. So for example, one example of a Shirazi Imam that a lot of you know is, say it with me, Imam Tawhidi. Imam Tawhidi. So Imam Tawhidi is a Shirazi from one of these Shirazi people. And you can see how much they love the Queen. They talk about the Queen Elizabeth, and how much they want to be recognized by her or accepted by her. They say nice things about her, and they claim that she has the Prophet Muhammad's blood in her veins. Like she's so has laughing so hard over all of this.
Yeah. No, the reveal of Imam Tawhidi. So this is partially why Imam Tawhidi is a super controversial figure in Muslim circles, because he's not just like he's controversial because of what he says about Islam, but like not just any kind of background. He has a Shirazi Shia background in particular. So there are conspiracies about him as well, but that's a story for a different day, because I have done a deep dive into the Shirazi Shia conspiracy world, which is how I got the nickname of Shia Susie. But so that's why I was so excited to talk about this news, because I get to whip out all this knowledge that I have for no reason. The craziest thing that I've ever seen is the director of this movie, Yasser Al-Habib, having a cake. So usually on the Prophet Muhammad's wife, Aisha, Muslims will celebrate her birthday sometimes. Well, the day that she died. So his group held a party where they had a cake that literally says in Arabic, like, happy, like, day that Aisha went to hell day. I was like, holy crap, you guys are on a different level. And they're like singing songs with children about how Aisha is in hell. I'm like, oh my God. Secular Raider is saying, LOL, the Queen of England is definitely not a descendant of Muhammad. She is, however, married to her cousin. I actually think that there is, I think actually is legitimate genealogy.
Yeah, look, all these charts that show how Queen Elizabeth is connected to Prophet Muhammad. There's a lot of charts where people make that connection, like Muhammad, blah 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 blah. So there's so many articles and analysis on this. You guys could go read all of these charts. So,
she's a Sayyida.
She's a Sayyida, yeah.
Sayyida. Okay, so anyways, coming back to the present. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to know, like, the reason why this is so significant is because Shias really believe in the importance of blood. You know what I mean? Like, they really... No, bring it back. It's okay. Because everything in Shia Islam, the inheritance of the blood of Muhammad is very, very significant. Okay, this is why the Sunnis believe in the four caliphs. They were chosen. They're like, Sunnis are like, hey, they claim that our process was a lot more democratic, and like, oh, these Westerners, they think like they invented democracy, but look, Abu Bakr was chosen this way by a council of people, and Omar was this way, and Osman a different way. I mean, well, all three of them were chosen in different methodology, right? But like, it wasn't by blood, and they make fun of Shias for thinking like heredity matters, right? But Shia Muslims say, well, that's what the Prophet said. They said, like, my household will inherit this pureness, the pureness that I have. And technically, the Shias are right, because the Shias like, what are you guys talking about? You guys are telling us heredity doesn't matter. All our prophets, because the Islamic prophets are Jewish prophets, right? And Jewish prophets, they became prophets through heredity. Like they were the lineage of Abraham, and that's claiming that they came from that lineage gave them the legitimacy to be prophets, right? So Shias were like, we're just taking that tradition and we're continuing that tradition, and you guys are acting like this is something completely un-Islamic, but look at all the other prophets. That's how they were selected, right? That's how they were chosen. You need to have their heritage. You need to have claim that you come from Abraham. Anyways, but yeah.
So coming back to the present day with this movie, this is also juicy to talk about because when we covered Armin a while ago, did a reaction to the trailer for this movie, and he was very critical of it because he's educated enough to be able to talk about and expose the propaganda that's going on, because a lot of people, some of the symbolism that's used, they might not understand what's going on. And so he was exposing this like propaganda, and then we got a strike on our channel, a false strike by the production company that made this film. And so we fought the copyright strike, and it was hilarious to me because I then started watching their content on the channels that they put out. And on their channels, they're talking about, this is the most reacted to trailer ever. We have hundreds of reactions from all across the world, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but when it's one that you don't like, you copyright strike it. Like,
yeah. You guys remember when we did the review of this and we got a copyright strike? This was this, and then we fought against it, and we got the copyright strike removed. But yeah, the people who made this movie didn't like our reviews, because there were so many other reviews that didn't get a copyright strike, but ours that was not favorable, that one got the copyright strike, even though it's completely allowed based on fair use. Oh, another point that we have to remember: this movie is hella racist.
Yes, okay, that's what I wanted to get into. So this is something that I haven't seen talked about in any of the protests or any of the reports going on. Armin and I watched this last night, and we're like, is it just me, or is this movie racist? Because the only Black people in this movie are...
Well, not the only. From the main characters. Okay, so because they have token Black people on the good side, as well, okay, but
the majority of the Black people in this movie.
Okay, if you remove all the people that are just bystanders from the main characters, good people be light skinned, bad people be dark skinned. That's how this movie works. But yeah, go on.
Okay, so I first caught on to this when I was like, you're introduced to Aisha, and Aisha is immediately talked about in aggressive tones, and she's immediately described as extremely jealous. And I was like, uh-oh, well, she's the first Black woman I see in this movie. Like, okay, like maybe this was just casting choice, like don't read too much into it. And then Umar Uthman, this one warrior guy that goes to burn down Fatima's house, like they're all Black people, like consistently. I was like, this is and we were talking about this last night, Armin. What did you say? We're like, is it just me, like, or what's going on here? Like, did no one on set, was this a choice that they made? Like, were they not aware?
Okay, so there's a scene that Aisha comes in, okay, and she's like so annoying. They made her so, because the movie is so anti-Aisha, okay? But then she walks in and you're like, she's not like light skin Black. She's like Black, like dark skin, really dark skin Black, right? I mean, like, and I'm like, why is Aisha Black? Like, there's nothing in Islam. Can somebody correct me? Like they must have gone out of their way to find somebody who's Black to represent as Aisha. Like, there's nothing in Islam that mentions that Aisha is Black, right? Like, why is it? And then Omar is Black and Abu Bakr is Black. Every single character that is supposed to be evil is Black. And then Muhammad, first of
evil.
Cartoon. Like, they say things that like evil villains would say. Like, come on, guys.
This one guy, he's like, do whatever brutality is needed. I was like, who says that?
Or like, we will separate the daughter from the father. Or like, who talks like that? Who talks like that? Like, even evil people don't in the real world don't talk like that. What are you talking? Oh my God. The daughter should not meet her father. Oh my God. But yeah, but also it's not just that. It's also that the good people, like Ali and Muhammad, they're extra light skin. You know, they're not just light skin, they're the lightest, they have the lightest skin. You know what I mean? They're like, it's so racist. I don't know. Like, even if they weren't trying to be racist, did somebody not notice, like, hey guys, just by pure accident, oopsie, we have done something that looks really bad. Do you not want to fix this? Oh my God. But also, one thing that you don't see in Iran, they show Muhammad's face and they show Ali's face. Okay? Like in Iran, even in Iran, that Shia Islam, they don't do that. Like, I'm like, this is the first Islamic movie I'm saying that Muhammad's face is like shown.
They show Muhammad's face more than they show Fatima's face. You don't see a single centimeter of Fatima's skin. She's wearing gloves and like not even a niqab with the little eye slit, like just a sheet over her face. Like you don't see anything underneath all that clothing, but you see Muhammad's face throughout the film. But what's interesting is that they actually used like a combination of CGI and molding several actors together to create these depictions of Muhammad and Ali. So there technically isn't like a person that looks like that. There isn't a person that was portraying Muhammad. It's like an amalgamation that they then created this depiction out of. So that's how they got around it Islamically, because it's not a single person like trying to take on the, betrayal of the prophet.
Okay, so you're pointing out correctly that Muhammad was described as white and Ali was his relative. So you might have an excuse for that, okay? But the fact that Muhammad was described as white, like light skin, might also show the bias in Islam itself. Because in Islam, you also have, within hadiths, you have description of people in a bad way as being too dark skin, right? So maybe like, well, they had no choice. They had to choose white skin because it was described so as in Islam. Well, Islam is kind of like colorist as well. But anyways, fair point. Maybe for Ali and Muhammad, they had a good excuse, okay? But the fact that Omar, Abu Bakr, and Aisha were dark skinned, all of them, right? I don't know if that's because there's no description of that anywhere in Islam. And it just seems like it's such a pure.
Yeah.
If it's an accident, I don't think it's an accident. It's very unlikely for it to be an accident.
My review of the movie is like, don't watch it. It was boring.
No,
I was like literally, I was waiting for it to be over. I was like falling asleep. I was not interested at all. But okay, one thing I wanted to talk about the story about is like, what is with this mob rule going on in England? What the hell is going on here? So like a couple hundred people can show up and dictate what is Islam to the rest of the country?
Ooh.
Like a couple, what?
So you're saying that Sunnis closing down the movie is like you're telling that they're giving in to some Muslims over some other Muslims because of this?
Yeah, no, this isn't like a win for us. Like, what is this? This is mob rule. Who do you get to decide that what I have access to? Screw you. Who are you to decide what I get to go and see because it's offensive to you? No, you don't get to dictate that.
Well, Susie, you don't get to dictate to a movie theater, and that if they don't like the controversy, who are you to dictate that they should keep playing the music? They just don't like the vibe. They don't like the controversy.
Hey, you know what they can do? They can choose to not watch the film. They can choose to not pay money to support the creators. But you're taking away the opportunity for me to do so? So you get to decide for everyone else what is and is not offensive because you were offended. Like, what the hell is this? And I think it is so telling. I think it is so telling that the chains that canceled the movies, one, the producer came forward and said, we had a 5-week run in America and no one said anything. No one said anything. So what's going on with the temperature and the attitudes in England? What the hell?
Well, Susie, why are you defending the people who gave us a copyright strike?
I'm not defending them. I'm defending it. People do not have a right to not be offended.
This is what you get. I'm a Hindu now. This is karma. You gave us a copyright strike. You got the ultimate strike, okay? You got like banned from so many. You banned our video reviewing you. Well, now you're banned everywhere, okay? Are you happy? This is what karma gets you. I'm Hindu now. All right, can we?
It's so it's so ridiculous. Like it actually pisses me off. And oh my gosh, like, and I think it's so telling that the movie theaters, they canceled it. They didn't say that they canceled it because usually they'll give a really milquetoast answer like, oh, I'm sorry for the offense that was caused, blah, blah, blah. We didn't know. No, they explicitly said we canceled this movie because we're afraid for our safety. They said we're canceling this because of because we have concerns for the safety of our staff and our customers. What the hell is going on in England?
Make fun of Hinduism. Apparently, they don't behead you. Okay, so go for make movies against that. Okay, so can we play? Can we play this? Or
Oh
one
yeah,
of these?
this is
Which one of these should we play? The last one is good.
The last one is interesting. I
The
don't know if we
last
want to
one
play the
is-
whole thing.
Yeah, we're being racist because obviously these people don't have anything useful to say. This probably is.
Shut up, Armin. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
I'm just calling out our own racism. All right,
Oh
let's
my
play.
God.
We need to stop giving in to mob rule. We need to stop worrying about offending a particularly hard line element of
Wait, this guy said exactly what you said. This is your people, Susie. You guys are agreeing.
Okay,
need
no,
to
I don't
stop giving
agree
in
with some
to
of the
mob
stuff
rule.
this guy said.
Wait, let me play it like you're not. Okay, hold on.
We need to stop giving in to mob rule. We need to stop worrying about offending a particularly hard line element of the Muslim community, put our foot down and say enough is enough. There have been huge protests outside of Cineworld in Bradford, Bolton, Birmingham and Sheffield by some Muslim, mostly from what I can see anyway, men. Why? Because there was a film called The Lady of Heaven that is about the Prophet Muhammad's daughter, apparently. I've not seen it, obviously, but it depicts her and apparently the Prophet Muhammad as well. The film has now been pulled because Cineworld was afraid that these protests were threatening the safety of their staff. Well, why don't the police get involved then? If this was a far-right mob, then the police would be all over it, wouldn't they? They'd stop it. Look, I'm all for tolerance and inclusivity, but at the end of the day, if you live in a certain country, you should adopt the values of that country, not attempt to force your values onto everyone else, in my opinion. Britain is a very diverse nation, wonderfully so. In fact, multiculturalism, frankly, some people would argue, puts the great into Great Britain, doesn't it? We are a very multicultural country with a large Muslim population. But it is not a Muslim country, and that's simply a straightforward matter of fact. If a cinema chain chooses to show a film that offends the sensitivities of some elements, anyway, of the Muslim community, then as far as I'm concerned, there's a very simple solution for the protesters outside the cinemas. Just don't watch the film. But this is just the latest in a very long line of similar incidents.
I mean, you can protest if you like. I'm not against protesting. I'm against threatening. I think the problem with the protest is not that they're protesting. Protesting is also like maybe this man should be introduced to the fact that protesting is also one of your part of your culture. Okay, you guys invented protesting, I think. I mean, you're Protestant.
Well, I don't know about that, but so yeah, no,
Right.
like I agree with him up to this point, and then it just takes like a right-wing anti-immigrant turn.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, guys, don't be like, oh, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Why are you protesting? You should be encouraging protesting. You should be discouraging violent protesting. You should be discouraging threats. Okay, those are bad.
Protesting that causes that degree of intimidation.
Yeah, protest with intimidation, bad. Protest, I mean, technically, there's okay. Protest requires intimidation, or else nobody
No,
would
it
take
requires. It means you're putting pressure on someone, not necessarily
Yes.
intimidation.
Okay, intimidating, but not on people's lives and security. You could be intimidating. I don't know like you could be like threatening their economy or their business or something like that. Anyways, there's ways to do this right.
Take Batley Grammar School, for example. Yet again, a mob conducted pretty threatening protests. Nothing really happened about it, and now a teacher is, as far as I'm aware, essentially in protective custody for the rest of his life.
Still
This
true.
is not on. It's not okay. We have to grow a pair and put our foot down. We're too soft when it comes to this kind of stuff. People might think, oh, well, it's just a film. Take the easy route and cancel it. It's just one teacher at a school. It doesn't really matter. But where does this end when you really play it out? I actually find it quite offensive that there appears to be a rather large group of people who are more than happy to reap the benefits that this country has to offer. So by our way of life, for example, talking of benefits, by the way, actually, has anyone asked why this lot protesting outside cinemas aren't actually at work? No? Okay, fine. Anyway, people seem more than happy to take advantage of
This
our
dude.
free education system, our free healthcare system, and other general benefits that this country has to offer. But then at the same time, they want to fundamentally impose their values or cultural or religious ideology onto all of us. And I find that more than a bit cheeky. Frankly, I find it flipping rude.
I mean, I don't know. That wasn't anti-immigration. That was anti-values. I think there was nothing like.
No,
he didn't
because
say that
he's making this assertion. Well, why would these people come here and reap our benefits and then want to
He
assert
didn't
their
say come
values?
here.
But I'm like,
Did he say?
but I'm like, you know, he's like, come here. I think I might be
he
misremembering,
said?
but I'm pretty sure he says that.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Well,
a lot of these people
so
are probably English citizens, born and
that's
raised.
exactly what I said. If he said come here, if he said people come here, I don't remember him saying that. But if he did say that, then that's like like, dude, they're British. They're citizens. This is their country.
It's very likely most of the people there were born in England.
Yeah.
So like, who are these people to come here and like take advantage of our benefits, blah blah blah? And I'm like, well, they're probably a lot of them are probably citizens.
But technically, most of what he said is correct, because most of what he was saying was against values. But if he said these people come here, then yeah, I would take issue with that. Okay.
I just love the way British people thought. He's like, I don't think that's on. This is not on. Like, and then he's like, frankly, I think this is a bit cheeky. Oh, just a little cheeky.
By the way, guys, be careful, because sometimes when people speak in British accents, you might think that they sound a little bit more rational. Okay, so be mindful of that. Okay?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, this is like, oh, that guy sounds very reasonable. Well, no, they just have a British accent. Okay, but technically what he said is mostly right. Anyways, can we clap for the next news?
Wait, no, I just want to highlight a few more comments.
Okay.
Suha just threw in a Yahoo saying. While we were talking about this, just toss out a Yahoo saying.
Yahoo saying. Okay, which scene as any do you prefer for Hussein? Okay, this method or this method? My dog's.
I think I like the 1-2. You can get a better tempo with that, but I can't really do either. You can't do it as well.
No, you go all the way up, and then you come down. You go all the way up, and you come down, or you have this. I think it depends on the music, the background music. See which rhythm. Yeah. It hurts the tatas too much if you're a woman. I can't do that.
Which is why when you watch women do it, they do it like this, what's on their shoulders.
Oh, you're right.
Because if you do it right here, especially coming down from above, you're like, ah!
Oh my god, I never thought about that. That's why they go like here and here all this time. I've never like, okay, you're right. Okay. Read more. Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, people also prefer the 1-2.
This one. Okay.
Shows how it's done, Armin. That's right. Oxymoron prefers the beater with swords.
Oh, you like the Shirazi brand then? That's the Shirazi version. All right. Can we? You have another one start? Oh, here.
Exactly. It hurts the tits. And Armin realizing women have boobs.
Nobody told me. I mean, okay. Here's the thing. Bring it up, coming back. Okay. Here's what's actually happening. Okay. I've been slapping them all my life, and they seem to like it. Okay. So it's not. It's not the issue of whether they have boobs or not, okay? I'm just realizing that
when.
Yeah, what is the revelation to me is apparently sometimes slapping boobs are not okay. Because that's not my experience.
Oh my god, I have to compose myself. We have a serious story next.
Okay.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of blasphemy and sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. Link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our blasphemous art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe. Link in the description below.